And Bob Berger from Berger and O'Toole has slept it off after St. Patrick's Day and is ready to dig in. Robert, good morning.
Good morning, Gary, Jim, Lucy, and Roger. What's going on this morning?
Well, I see we got a few. Why do we get to the 18th this year for taxes? Why is that?
You know, we've always had the opportunity when the filing date falls on a weekend to wait until Monday. And this
yeah,
year,
but that's Tuesday.
It is Tuesday. April 17th is Patriots Day. And so we've got another holiday there. So we actually get a filing date gets to move till April 18th. So we've got a couple extra days to sweat out those last-minute tax deductions and get your tax return filed. And you can file it online on the 18th. So and it'll be accepted then.
Good deal. All seriousness, Bob, what about, people get into the situation some do every year where they're going to owe money and they really don't have it. I guess the extension is a logical place to go, but for folks who aren't sure how that works, give us the ABC here.
Well, the extension is just an extension of time to file the documents. It's not an extension of time to pay your tax. So on April 18th, you still have to come up with payments. And if you don't have the money, there's really three ways you can try to pay this tax liability. The first one is, I think, is the most one that's usually ignored, is this additional time to pay based on your circumstances. If you call the IRS at 1-800-829-1040, they'll actually grant you between 60 and 120 days to pay in full, and usually the penalties and interest are less than if you had to file an installment agreement.
But it doesn't negate the penalty.
It doesn't negate the penalty, but it does reduce it.
What is the penalty typically?
The penalty is basically it's a 0.5% a month that you fail to pay, and then there's a additional 5% failure to file penalty if you just fail to file altogether. So it's a substantial number. So if you can find a way to pay it on that date, that's the best way to do it. So you've got just calling the IRS for the additional time. Also, you can use a credit card or a debit card to pay, and they charge a flat fee to do that. But it's still a great option if you can't pay right away. Put on your credit card, and then you can pay it at a later date.
You mentioned something that I think is worth emphasizing that I guess we don't think of that often. If we have an issue of any kind, really, go to the source. You can call the IRS and say, "Hey, I got an issue here. What should I do?" Right?
Absolutely, and they're they come off as the bad guys, or you think of them as the bad guys. But most of the time, if you approach them before there's a problem, they're going to help you work out the issues. And the installment agreement is the last option you have there, and that's basically filling out a form and telling them, hey, we're going to pay a little bit over time, and they'll charge you penalty and interest, but at least you're on their radar and you're making a payment and you're getting that liability paid off. So that's the hard part.
CPA Bob Berger from Berger and O'Toole here. Bob, I'm sure you see this every year. You have people come in with just a few days to go with a shoebox full of stuff, and they say, I'm not sure what I have here, but knock yourself out.
Absolutely. They come in and they say, we've just been so busy, we've got so much to do, I just can't do it. And we say, great, we'd love to file that extension for you and get them extended, because we want to do it right and do it once. And that's what you want to do when you're dealing with them. But there's a lot of year-end or basically April 18th things that you can do to get ready. And you still have a couple of days. And, after you finish your Easter brunch, you can sit down with your tax stuff and pull that together and still get it filed by the 18th.
What have they done to us this year that's new that we need to know about?
The thing we're seeing a lot of is those people that qualified for or that basically took advantage of the Affordable Care Act and signed up online for those health insurance credits. As you file your tax return, you're finding that there's a little kickback there. You're going to have to come up with some additional cash to pay for your health insurance, and that's been the biggest surprise. Those people that think, well, I've gotten this free ride all year and I've gotten paid this low-cost health insurance, turn around paying $400 or $500 up to $2,000 when they file their return.
Wow!
And it's a surprise, and people aren't expecting it, and it's really become a thorn in people's side on this Affordable Care Act.
Just before we run, talking with Bob Berger, Bob, what about the commercially available pieces of tax software? Are some of those actually pretty good? People can go download that and do their own? I'm not trying to take business away from you, but
Sure sounds like it.
Yeah, it does. Thanks, Gary. Appreciate that. No, it's those tools are really good tools to give you an idea of how the tax system works. And for a lot of people, if you just have a basic tax return, you can actually file online and go to the IRS website and you can file for free. So those are all good tools to help you get an understanding of how the tax system works. If you're going to do any tax planning or tax savings, as always, we recommend a CPA that's qualified in doing it. But there is a place for those tax software programs.
You got any websites where I can invent receipts?
Not a one, Jim. But I'm sure you've already got yours invented.
Man, I've been scanning hour after hour looking, and I haven't found one yet. I figured you'd know.
No, I know it's an incredibly busy time. Bob, thanks for taking some time for us this morning. We appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate talking to you guys, and stay profitable, all right?
Yes, sir. Bob Berger, Berger and O'Toole, the least interesting man in the world, here on News Radio 1110 KFAB.